life, sex, goals, and oh, hell knows, this is Midlife Craving. Fun fact, I used to be a bartender and server for years. I would walk up to tables and say, I'm busier than a one-arm paper hanger. What can I get you? Or I would say, there's a party in my mouth and everyone's coming. What do you need from me today? That's how I'm feeling all day, every day right now. It's like, what do you need from me over here? What do you need from me over there? You know, work is busy as fuck. I'm single momming like a motherfucker, trying to work out as much as possible. I'm just navigating through a lot of change. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and call it growth. But hey, I'm here for it, so let's get at it. It's time for my 5-minute orgasm where I release all the shit going on in my life. And you know, this shit don't ever stop or change for me, so I'm here for your goddamn entertainment. Let me tell you one of the funniest stories that happened this week. So my daughter goes to a private school, and this week she needed flowers for a Mary statue or some shit. I mean, I got like 3 reminders from the teacher about the event. My child reminded me a bunch of times, and I'm like, okay, I won't forget it. I got it. I brought home a ton of pipe cleaners. Bringing home a pipe cleaner. Does anybody know where I can find one of those? God, let's see. It's day 19 of my no-D diet, and I am ST ruggling. Anyway, so I'm like, girl, I got you. Like, I got all these art supplies. She worked all night on this beautiful bouquet of flowers. I mean, the shit was looking legit. So we're on our way to school. And I mean, we are like almost there. And she's like, Mom, I forgot my flowers. So I'm like, skirt. Oh my God, what are we going to do? I pull into a neighborhood and I'm like scouting houses. And I mean, she's having like a mental breakdown in the backseat. And I'm like driving by homes like, fuck, they got cameras. Shit, they do too. So I finally pull up to the entrance of the neighborhood and they have like these beds of flowers. And I'm like, all right, get out, pick some goddamn flowers. Listen, I just want to say, if you're a parent out there, especially my single ones out there, you got to do what you motherfucking got to do. My motto when it comes to parenting, and I guess life in general right now, is whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, baby. I hauled ass to school. I dropped her off and I was like, have a good day, girl. Take them stolen flowers to your priest. Praise be. I mean, like, you know, like these are the things that you have to go through when you have a child in school. I mean, I feel like I'm back in school and this shit's just crazy. So then this weekend, I went and got a pedicure with Zach because, man, I really need to like chill the fuck out. So I'm laying back, relaxing. It's like really nice and calm in there. I was actually making a few notes for this week's episode. And then all of a sudden, my nail tech is like, do you got acrylics on your toenails? And I'm like, what the fuck? Acrylics on my fucking toe? I mean, hell no. I was like, is he nuts? Like, I was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, you know, some people put acrylics over their broken nail. And I'm like, I don't got no broken nail. I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, I was noticing as he was taking my gel nail polish off that like my big toenail looked like, I don't know, like almost like it was in half and it was like lifted a little bit. And I was like, oh my God. So side note, I used to run marathons back before my 2 back surgeries. By the way, I could have an entire episode on all the surgeries I've had, but I have not been a stranger to losing toenails in my life. It's from when your feet slide to the front of your shoes. And I remember like 2 weeks ago when I was running on the treadmill, I remember my toe was a little sore after and I was like, bitch is broke. So me being me, I was like, fuck it. I just grabbed the nail and then ripped it off. Zach, oh my God. Zach was fucking dying. I think at one point he was like gagging and my nail tech was just in complete shock, just staring at me. And I'm like, what? Like, what am I supposed to do? Cry about it? Like, no. Like, I mean, it's got to go. At this point, Zach is like freaking out. And I'm just like, listen, who the fuck cares? I have 0 time to be worried about a toenail. And he's like, you sick fuck. And I just said, I mean, it just came out loud as shit. I go, good thing I ain't got no boyfriend. And the entire nail salon just starts like busting out laughing. And I'm like, you know what? If you can't make fun of dumb shit that happens to you, I feel sorry for you. I mean, who cares? It's a fucking toenail. It'll grow back. Oh my God, I was laughing so hard because I realized it must have happened a while ago, 2 weeks, I don't know, maybe a month. I mean, I had my last pedicure, I guess over a month ago, and I was dying because like underneath it was like a soft shell crab. I mean, the shit was already pretty much healed up. And I was just like, yeah, you go ahead and paint it. You can go ahead and paint it clear. We're good. We're good. I swear to God. So now I got treadmill toe for my hot girl summer. Fuck it, man. All right, so let's wrap up this 5-minute orgasm as I talk about the very best thing that has happened to me this week. Oh my God. So I told you last week I bought a new toy. Okay. Listen, it is unlike any toy I have ever used before. It's a clit sucker and it's shaped like in the actual size of a rose. I named her Rosie. Let me just tell you, this thing fucking blew my mind. Now, you know I love Captain Morgan, and I still do, and I will use him forever. But man, since I got Rosie, I mean, oh my God, like she is my main bitch. So the key to this toy is that you need to use a little bit of lube. And remember, Astroglide's my favorite brand. And you just like place it on your clit, and oh my God, like fucking magic happens. I have to tell you, this shit was so intense. And one of the hottest parts was being able to like watch my clit get sucked into the toy. Like, playing with myself and watching that was so hot. And I was so turned on that I seriously didn't even think to turn on porn. Also, I'm not going to lie, this toy got me wetter than any toy I have ever tried. I'm sorry, Captain, but god damn. Another thing is, I'm going to tell you right now, go get this toy. And when you do, like, hit it to the 4th setting. It's like this pulsing. And I am not exaggerating. I had the most incredible, like, a lot of buildup, orgasm, probably in my entire life. I swear to God, this thing, I'm calling it a soul snatcher because you need to be prepared for your soul to get snatched. And listen, I had no idea about this hidden talent of mine, but now I can now officially speak whale. That's what Rosie does to me. I just want to say too, this toy would be great to use with a partner. It's really easy to hold. It doesn't require much placement. I mean, oh my God, so powerful. I can't wait for you guys to try this. I can totally see myself using this while sucking dick or like while someone is inside of me. I mean, I just feel like it's a very versatile toy, especially with a partner, and that's important for me. Also, it's not that loud. Probably average for a sex toy, but you will not be able to be quiet. That I assure you. So if you're concerned about noise, do not be worried about the toy. You need to be worried about yourself. I give Rosie 5 big, huge gold stars. In fact, I'm getting excited even talking about her right now. And to be honest with you, I saw her right before I came in this room. You know, like that's the first thing I do. Like I rush home from work. I get myself all worked up because I'm like, yes, I have one-on-one time with myself and now Rosie. And that's just the kind of girl I am. Don't you worry, by the way, I got you covered. You can go get a Rosie of your own on my website, Midlife Craving, and click links. There's also Captain Morgan on there, my favorite lube, and of course, dude wipes. You can also see my full review of this toy, including an immediate after reaction on my Instagram page at Midlife Craving. It's one of my TikToks that got banned. I put it on Instagram. It lives there. You know, if you're a follower on TikTok, go ahead and make the transition over to Instagram. I do not know how much longer I'm going to be able to use TikTok. I swear to God, I am trying so hard to deal with the censorship and I am not giving up. Like I will not lose TikTok. But if they ban me, there's not really much I can do. And I feel like that's kind of in my future. By the way, I just want to give a shout out to all the men out there who asked me about this toy or requested the link to buy it for their wives or girlfriends. I mean, I love to see it. What a great guy and what a lucky gal. I mean, it gives me hope for the future men in my life. Like there's guys out there actually looking out for their women. A fucking plus. God, between Captain and Rosie, I think they may be the key to helping me hold myself over as I go through this 60-day no-D diet. I mean, I've got, let me see, I think it's day day 19. So, oh man, I'm getting there. Countdown is on. Remember, the tip with Rosie is to use lube and try the different settings. You will not believe the different things that they can do. And allow yourself to like take a minute. A lot of people want to use a vibrator. This is like a steady vibe. Those pulsing sensations, like they are the key to building up a really strong orgasm. You are fucking welcome for that tip. Listen, I can talk about sex toys all day long. In fact, I think this is like my second coming. Oh, fuck, I wish I was coming for a second time right now. Oh my God. But seriously, I think that this is what I was meant to be when I grew up, for sure. I am so passionate about this. I love talking about it. I love hearing from you guys. And I could just go on and on and on, but I am really ready to get this episode started. Let's get it on. I am in the studio with my girl, Christina. She is a fellow midlife craver, and I am so excited to have you on the show.
I am so excited. Thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to it.
Yes,
so much.
I know. And you know, you just meet people and they're just instantly your soul sister. I feel that with you. When you shared your story with me and you were so honest and so upfront, I was like, I fucking love her.
Well, because I figured if I'm going to do it, you got to be honest. You have to
All
put
in.
it out there.
Yeah.
Or it's not going to be a good show.
Yes.
Right?
I love it. So. Thank you. All right. So, and it's also nice because, you know, you're a fellow 40-something single hot mom, just who gets it and who gets, you know, the shit that I'm going through right now. And a lot of my listeners and a lot of people in the world are going through right now. I feel, you know, I say it and I'll say it again. We're the first generation that's really breaking through with this whole, you know, women working full time, you know, out there, you know, getting divorced and, you know, being a single mom and not having a village and doing these things.
Navigating all of that. The dating, raising children, learning how to deal with ex-spouses and how all of that works.
Yep.
And
it's a lot. It is.
A lot.
So it's nice to meet someone who just gets me. Like you fucking get me. It's amazing. All right. So Christina, I just want to like, tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell my listeners just, and this just be a little overview, high level overview.
Yeah. So I'm 47. I've been divorced for 5 years, but we were separated almost 2 years prior to that. So I kind of look at it as almost 7.
Yeah,
really.
I agree.
Yeah. I'm originally from Kansas, but I've been in Maryland since 2003. And I will tell you, going through a divorce and all the things that I've gone through in the past 7 years is difficult doing it here with no support system.
Yes.
As far as I don't have family here. I don't have my closest friends
Your
here.
village.
And I do have good friends here. And thank God for them. But it's very different when you feel like your family or I have very close friends that I consider family. Right. And they're all away. And that was hard.
That is
and
hard.
It still is hard because if I didn't have children, I would move home. Yeah. Because that's where I'm happiest. That's where I want to be.
Man,
and
that is hard.
It is hard. But at the same time, when I got married and we had children, I also understood that also meant not that I ever thought I would get divorced, but I also would never try to take the children away from their father because, you know, that's just not right to me. And it's more about them than my own happiness.
Yes.
So,
yeah. You know, it's funny you talk about people. I did an interview last week and this, one of the questions was, you know, what was a time in your life that changed you? Like, what was your defining moment? And I was just like, it was my divorce. It's such a huge shift in your life.
I learned and it's a lot.
Yes. And it's not all bad. There's a lot of good that comes from it. So I'm not saying that, but it's just amazing to me that that's the same thing for you. Like that was a big, and I think a lot of my friends, you know, Christina and others, like, you know, divorce really shaped their future, you know?
Well, I look at it as it's a terrible thing to go through, but you can also learn a lot through it.
Absolutely.
So I feel like I have really taken the time to learn about myself. Like I was not the person that immediately needed to go out and have someone. And I'm still not like that. I do want to have someone in my life, but I feel like I don't need someone. I don't need someone else to make me happy. I want a companion, but I have also learned that I want to be happy. So I'm not going to just settle for someone in my life just to have someone.
That's what this whole midlife craving thing is about. You know, it's like craving more, knowing what you want and attaining it, not settling. You know, there's so much pressure. I talk about this all the time. I feel like I'm just like on repeat, but there's so much pressure in your late 20s and 30s, like get married, have a baby, settle down. Like that's what the world wants you to do. Right. And then when you break that mold, it seems so terrible, and people like look at divorce sometimes. I mean, we can talk all day about like the shit that you get for it.
I felt like a failure.
Yes.
It was very hard,
absolutely.
even though I knew I had to divorce.
Yes.
It makes you feel like a failure.
It does.
Even though I had every reason to. And the people in my life that love me were like, you're not a failure, and you need to, because you deserve to be happy, and you deserve to show your kids that you're a strong woman who is not settle and be happy, but you still feel like a failure.
It is the most isolating thing. But I will tell you this, and I know I have a lot of listeners that are going through it, you know, or if you do ever find yourself in the situation, just know that like you're going to be okay. And it's not that the grass is greener on the other side. I think it's how you water the grass where you're at. But you know, that light at the end of the tunnel, that fucking pot of gold at the end of that rainbow that you're riding, it's worth it.
But it's funny that you bring that up, because my whole motto since my divorce has been faith. And it's not so much like religiously based. It's and I have the tattoo. I had it tattooed.
It's your reminder. I always say I need to get like a tattoo on my forehead to remind me of shit. Because when I look in the mirror, it's right there.
But in all honesty, it hasn't been easy. I mean, I've had good times, and it hasn't been easy being divorced. There's been a lot of things that I've gone through.
Well, being married isn't fucking easy either.
It isn't.
So it's, you know, life is hard.
The word faith for me is always reminding myself to have the faith that everything is going to be okay.
Yep.
Ultimately, it's going to be okay. It may not be what I thought it was going to be, and it may be rough for a while, but ultimately, it's going to be okay.
Yep. I talk about that all the time. You know, just keep moving on, keep looking forward. Like, you know, Uncle Mo said, you know, the rear view is way smaller than the windshield. Like, keep looking forward.
I remember that
yes.
episode. I remember him saying that.
All right. So what I'm really excited to talk about with you, because you were the one that said it to me, because I've been waiting to discuss this topic, and I'm like, maybe, but you brought it up, and you have a lot of experience with it in your life as well. And so let's talk about it. Narcissism.
Yes.
Narcissists in the world out there. So at first I wanted to like go through, I wanted to define what a narcissist is, because I got to be honest with you. I learned what narcissism was only a couple of years ago, right? Like I had no idea what it was. I remember narcissist. I was like the guy that looks in the fucking mirror, you know, the lake, and sees himself and is like, I love myself. Like I thought it was that.
They're a god, you know, they're the best.
I didn't understand what kind of personality.
And that is part of it a little bit, but not necessarily to that extreme.
Right.
Always.
So I didn't understand like the personality disorder.
Right.
So narcissism and narcissist, it's someone that is incapable of feeling empathy. That's like the biggest like definition.
They can fake it.
Oh, we're going to talk about that. And I will say this too. People love to throw the word narcissism around.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to say to you.
Yes.
And unfortunately, what that does is it makes people who truly have dealt with a narcissist, people automatically assume that you're like, oh, yeah, everyone says that about who they dated or whoever. Right. And so it kind of takes some of that
It takes it away. I agree. So, you know, I'm on TikTok now. That's my fucking thing. And they have like what's called narc talk. And all these people are like, I'm dating a narcissist. I'm dating a narcissist. You know, it's like fucking Oprah with the car keys. You're a narcissist and you're a narcissist. Right. Well, I'm going to tell you this. Only 0.5% of the entire world are true narcissists with NPD, narcissistic personality disorder.
And we all have a little narcissism.
Everybody does.
That's
yes.
normal.
I'm
That's
talking
natural.
about, the actual disorder. And then, so just so you know, I looked up this, 75% are men. Lucky us. Lucky us.
Sorry, men. But.
And the numbers, the numbers are 1 in 200. That's seems like a lot when you break it down to like the men category. I actually correct people. They'll say to me, "Oh, well, he's a narcissist," and I'm like, "No, he's just a fucking asshole."
Right?
And he's
because
a
there's a difference.
They'll say she's a narcissist. I'm like, "No, she's just a toxic psycho bitch." Like NPD is no joke. And there is what we're gonna do today. So I just defined narcissism and narcissistic personality disorder. I'm gonna talk about red flags because I think that's huge. And these are things that like I get asked a lot because I have experience with narcissism. And then I want to talk about the narcissistic abuse cycle, because if you find if this is something that you're like, oh my god, this is my life, I want you to start thinking about narcissism, studying it and learning. And then we're going to talk about tactics that they use, and then how to win because I have a no-fail way on how to beat and kill a narcissist.
Which I can't wait to learn.
I know. I'm excited for
Like,
you.
I
I
can't
can't
wait
believe
to
you've
learn.
never heard of this. Or
I mean, I probably have an idea, but didn't know it actually had like a title. Yes.
All right, so I'm going to school you today. I'm
Okay,
excited about
I love
that.
it.
So let's talk about like the different types, and we can just go over
Sure.
this. There's 2 different types of narcissists. So there's the overt narcissist, which is the people that you were saying, like the guy that's like out there. He shows his cards. So there's someone that like uses methods that are completely obvious, right? They are out in the open for everyone to see. They're fucking narcissistic. They're an asshole.
And they
They're
don't
toxic.
care.
And they don't care. They give 0 fucks.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so now here's the most dangerous one. And by the way, the one that is the most popular, and that's the covert narcissist. So they use methods that are stealth. Okay, they are stealthy. Is that a word?
Yeah, no, it is.
They are stealthier, and they are also more secretive when it comes to like the tactics that they use as a narcissist.
And they're so good.
So good at it.
Because the thing is that
they live for it. That's what their world is.
But the people around them have no idea. They have a complete persona that people don't even realize.
So charming. Okay, so let's
very charming.
So that's what we're gonna do
charming.
now. We're gonna talk about red flags, and I like to tell people about this, and so I'm happy to share it here. So here's some red flags that are always associated with narcissists.
But I will say, if you don't know anything about narcissism, you won't see it.
You're right.
So like for me, I now can see red flags. But if you know nothing about it, you won't even realize.
I know.
You will not even realize that you have gotten into
By
a
the time you
relationship
do
or
realize
friendship.
it's too long. You're married, you're signed, sealed, delivered, the deed is done.
Right.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
So hopefully maybe me sharing all these red flags, enlightening people to what narcissism is, I can save some people. Because men and women can have narcissism. I'm not just blaming the men.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
All right, so one of the biggest red flags, we were just talking about this, they're full of charm and charisma. Okay, like they will sell you anything and you will overpay for it. They are excellent salesmen.
You will buy every bit of what they have
you
to
will.
say.
Oh my God. Okay, so like someone that's just like, and being charming is cute or whatever, and you're like, oh my gosh, they're so nice and sweet and charming, and the charisma. That's an attractive trait. I understand. But you can tell it's like overly.
I thought mine was a knight in shining armor, and some of that was because of my past, because what I had in my past, this seemed like, oh my gosh.
And they're famous for that.
Could this be real? Like, could this person be this like amazing? And how lucky am I?
Okay, so they also, narcissists, another red flag is they'll have very few friends or strained relationships. Well, all of them are strained relationships with their families. And some of them will have friends and they'll seem like they have great friends, but you'll start to notice they don't cultivate or foster those friendships.
Like in my experience, he had friends, but it was always a competition.
So that's another thing.
Right. If they made more money, he wanted to make more money. It was always in his mind a competition.
Yeah, that's a good, And then other thing too is like your narcissist has so much charm and so, amazing and wonderful and perfect. But, and like, you just think like they're so likable, but they don't have all of these true friends. So that's a huge red flag. I definitely had that with mine. Okay. So the next big red flag, and I don't care, every single narcissist does this. They appear to be living above their means because they are.
Oh, 100%. Basically, it comes from the image that they want to put out there, because there's something about them. The therapist that I talked to, basically, she was saying how he is so insecure.
Right. That's all it is.
From.
All it is.
And so those things, as in
they want to be
having
seen as that.
It has to be name brand stuff and the nicest vehicles and the nicest everything.
Yep.
Because their outer image is what they
care about.
Think
the most.
Everyone is perceiving them as, oh wow, look at them. They're successful and they have money and
they're grandiose. That's what it is. Like they're the
exactly.
most important person in the room.
But they could be the biggest piece of shit ever.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's what they're covering up.
And in my experience, he would spend the money as fast as we made it.
Debt.
If he
would not believe
he was
the debt.
getting a promotion or a bonus, he already had that money spent.
That's the thing. They are like that because they want that status. They want to be, the most important person. The most important person. Yes. Right. All right. So the next huge red flag, and so this is something you should really pay attention to, is that they want your life story. Like they appear to be studying you. So the thing is that what they're doing is They want to find your vulnerabilities.
Oh, yeah.
They want to expose you for everything. They want to know what they can use against you down the road. So that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's somebody, I'm not saying somebody that doesn't asks about you. It's someone who it feels like they're studying you.
But what I found is that's only in the beginning.
Yes. Right. They want to get everything.
After that, they're not paying any attention
Absolutely
to what you're
not.
saying, because all that matters is what's going on in their life.
Right. So, and something else too, you know, they want your life story, but yet you're getting nothing in return.
Right.
That's a huge thing, because narcissists, they're not telling you shit. And if they do,
not
it's a lie.
anything that they're vulnerable about.
No, hell no.
They'll talk about themselves at length, but not any of their insecurities or vulnerabilities at all.
So that's what the next thing I was going to say, a huge red flag.
Yeah.
They never, ever accept blame. Ever. Okay. Like, I don't care if you see them do it, they'll say I didn't do it.
Oh yeah.
And then if something is blatantly their fault, it was not their fault.
No.
So these are huge red flags of narcissistic personality disorder.
Oh,
so
yeah.
There's many more,
lying.
but those are the big ones.
Pathological lying.
Yes. It's unbelievable too. When you actually witness it, you're like, holy shit.
Sometimes it's the stupidest stuff.
Exactly. White lies.
Be like so stupid. And you're like, why would you lie about that?
Yes.
There's no reason to even lie about it. But they'll still say they didn't. They'll still say they didn't.
Oh, yeah. So, and that we're going to start talking about, you know, the tactics that they use, because ultimately what they want is they want to confuse you. It's the mind game.
The gaslighting.
Right. So, all right. So the next thing I really want to talk about, because I bet you there's someone out there who's going to recognize this cycle and be like, oh shit. And like, they'll wake up and be like, I might be with a narcissist. Right. So like, if I can save someone out there, like,
because
my job here is done.
The longer you're in it, the harder it is to get away.
All right. So let's talk about this cycle.
Okay.
So it goes like this. I'm going to just name it, and then I'm going to expand on it. Okay. So the first part is the honeymoon phase. The second part comes the tension, and then the explosion, and then finally the remorse, and then repeat. Honeymoon phase, tension, explosion, remorse. So let's dive into those. So the honeymoon phase. Oh God, isn't it the best?
Oh yeah.
2 tickets to paradise.
Prince Charming.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, but speaking of Prince Charming, I just want to let everyone know, Prince Charming in my life is not a narcissist. In fact, he is the furthest thing from a narcissist. He's probably more sensitive than I am. So Prince Charming is not a narc. I just want to put that out there. I would never. He oh my God, like that. Even saying the word narcissist with him and thinking of him makes no sense at all.
Right.
So okay, Prince Charming's not my narc. All right, so let's talk about the honeymoon phase. So it's like, and if you'll notice this. So like, it's a ton of adoration, gift giving. You know, I'm so sorry. Here's a new diamond necklace or ring. Right. They're so helpful, and they start complimenting you, and you're like, oh my God, they're being so nice right now. So that's the honeymoon phase, right?
Oh, and the laying it on thick, like
oh my God,
like the flowers and just
overwhelmingly, yes. And then comes the tension. So all of a sudden, the honeymoon thing, fades, and then it's like you'll notice he's moody. Or she's moody. And then they're nitpicking you. And you're like, wait a minute, like what's going on with that?
All the time.
And then they start criticizing you indirectly.
Yes. And we'll find sometimes the smallest thing, because they have to have something.
Yes.
And it may not even be a big deal, but they will find something to make you feel bad about. It could be very insignificant.
Yes. This is the mind game phase. This is when they start to really control you. They got you, right? So then the next is the explosion. So when I talk about like the explosion phase, it could be, something physical. It could be, sexual, or it could be emotional. So it could be a huge fight that lasts for 6 hours, like I said, sexual or physical. I mean, this shit happens every day.
Yeah,
so like that's their explosion phase.
Right. I will say, like, my narcissist that I dealt with was never physical or like physically abusive or sexually abusive, but it was definitely emotional.
Yep.
But at the same time, you don't always realize that in the moment.
Because you think you're crazy.
Well, yeah, right. Well, because that's what, it's all your fault. They're upset and angry because you made them angry. It was all your fault. You don't do something right, or the tone you used.
Or the air that you're breathing.
Basically.
I mean, come on.
Right, right.
Yeah. And then like next comes that remorse phase where they're like, oh man, she's really upset right now. So they're like, they feel guilty. They're giving you all the apologies. Oh, yeah. Promises start being made. But then they also at the same time are justifying their excuses. I remember I used to always hear like, well, you made me, or that's like a huge thing.
All the time. And I will say there would be remorse, but mine was never right away.
It's scary. It's honestly, it's fucking alarming.
It's cold. It's cold.
So then it goes right back to that honeymoon phase. And so like, I want to say something really important here about this cycle, because the more times that this cycle occurs, the less time that it takes to complete. So the longer that you get to know them and you're in a relationship with them, this cycle starts repeating itself. I mean, it could be multiple times a day. So one of the things as a victim of someone that's like with a narcissist, and by the way, a narcissist could be your boss. It doesn't have to be somebody you're in a relationship with.
It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship.
So this cycle could be happening.
Parent.
Yes, a parent. Oh my God. Yes. Brutal.
Right.
So in this cycle, I mean, it can continue on. And so what you're doing is, so the narcissists, they need their narcissistic supply. It's very important to remember that, you know, narcissists live, eat, sleep, and breathe off of others' energy. So that's why the victims of narcissists, like you could be a coworker or a child or a wife or a girlfriend, you are exhausted and totally, you're void of any energy anymore, or most importantly, peace. That shit is gone because they have absorbed it all.
Oh yeah. So
that is what, if you're feeling that way, I really want you to take a moment and study this and think about it. Am I with a narcissist?
Right. And it's sad, but they get a high from all
that.
Of that.
Yes,
that is their high.
That's it.
And I will say too, if you're with someone and you feel like they can never get enough attention, like they constantly need validation from you, like, oh, you look handsome, or oh, you're so great,
I worship you.
But you will notice, because it's not normal. It's an insane amount of
adoration.
Yes. It's crazy.
I know. It never stops.
It really is.
Yes. And one of the biggest things I remember, Christina, is I kept saying to myself, am I crazy? And I know I'm not a crazy person. I'm not perfect. Jesus Christ. But like, I'm like, am I fucking crazy? Like, I actually was thinking of going to a doctor and being like, I mean, I think something's going on. Like,
when I would see my therapist, I would say, because my narc would try to switch it and say I was a narcissist. And
we're going to talk about that in a minute. But
because she would say, the fact that you even even think that is.
So let's talk about that, Christina. So let's talk about tactics, because these are important. And like, you know, if you're dealing with this, you're gonna be like, ding, light bulb moment. Okay, so tactics and common mind games that narcissists play. And by the way, this is their life. Like, they're constantly playing this game. So gaslighting, huge thing. And by the way, other toxic people in your life could use gaslighting. When I talk about narcissists, I'm talking about all these things together. Because like I said, people throw this term around and they're not real narcissists. No. So, all right. So they
can have narcissistic
tendencies.
traits.
Yes.
Right. But it doesn't necessarily mean they have the disorder.
And it's funny because when I met you and we discussed this, like, I always know. It's almost like, you know, Zach always says he has amazing gaydar. And I'm like, I have narcdar. Like, I got a fucking, my antenna is like reaching bigger heights than everybody else.
I'm better. I've gotten better at it.
Listen, I saw this fucking, listen to me. I saw this fucking TikTok. It was so funny. It was this girl and she was like, listen, motherfucker, I'm a bad bitch. You only got 246 chances left with me.
That's so mean. Maybe not that much, but there was a meme too. It was like, it showed this person is like, look, I made a scarf out of all the red flags you gave me. And that's me. Because I kind of tend to give it a
You like the color red. You're like a bull in the
I mean, I've
arena.
gotten better. I've gotten better.
Right.
But I always feel like there's still more work that could be done.
Yes.
You know?
All right. So then the next is so funny. So with the gaslighting, so what they're doing is, you know, they're in complete denial. They lie constantly. They give you misinformation that will make you have doubt about your sanity. So that's what I'm talking about. And then they will start messing with like your memories or your perception of things. And when you're in it, like, it's crazy. In fact, there's a term, it's called disassociation. Narcissists will bring you to this place called disassociation, where you are no longer living in real world. You're living in narc world. And it's fucking scary. And I was there, believe me. And somebody who is as strong and confident and outgoing and smart, like, pat myself on the back. But seriously, I was living there, girl.
But that's a good point, because your characteristics of who you are doesn't mean you're not susceptible to being with an narc.
Anybody. Exactly. Anybody can fall for it.
Exactly.
I have a really good line I'm going to say at the end too when I talk about healing, because I think it's something that's going to open a lot of people's minds. So the next one is what you were talking about. It's projection. This is a huge thing that narcissists do. They will criticize others, including the person that they get their most supply from, for doing things that they do themselves. For me, it was like, I was guilty until proven innocent. It was like, you're cheating. And it was because he was always cheating. And I'm like, bro, I'm not cheating. Like, and so other things, like you said, like, they'll just project anything that's their fault. They'll project it on you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
So look for that projection, because it is real.
Oh yeah. And if that's happening 9 times out of 10, probably even more than that, it means that's what they're doing.
I was going to say 10 out of 10. It's what they're doing.
It's what they're doing.
They have a lot of tools in their toolbox.
Yeah.
You know, like,
they're that, but.
All right. So another thing that tactics that narcissists are famous for is silent treatments. So like you were saying, when you're hurting and they just broke you, you get the silent treatment. He'll ignore your calls, your messages, and it's only to make you have self-doubt.
Oh, but if I didn't answer my phone,
I know.
And not because of a silent treatment, I just missed the call. It was like the end of the damn world.
Yep. That missed phone call is a cycle. You're going to go through all that entire cycle with the one missed phone call. So I just want to say something. It is the most draining, exhausting, soul-sucking shit you will ever go through in your life. Dealing with a narcissist.
Absolutely.
A true narcissist.
Absolutely.
Like it is unbelievable. So another thing, another huge thing, another tactic that I want to talk about is mirroring, because this is a real thing. So narcissists will not only start to look like you and talk like you and walk like you, like it's a real fucking thing. They'll have everything in common with you. So notice if you're with someone and they never have an opinion that's different than yours. I'm not talking about when you're in that cycle and you're fighting. I'm talking about around other people. Like, do they ever have, like, I feel like narcissists, they never have an opinion on things and something that's different, like a differing opinion. Okay, that brings me to one of the biggest statements that I want to say. I saw this a couple of months ago and I wrote it down, I swear to God, everywhere, because it just reminds you that you're not crazy. And like one of the things I struggled so hard with after I had gotten out of that situation, was like, I can't believe I fell for that. Like I beat myself up hard. I was like, I cannot believe I fucking lived like that. I fell for that. And so here's the statement. You fell in love with the person they pretended to be. And the person they pretended to be is you. And that's so fucking true. So like I said, with the mirroring and the shaping and the love bombing. I mean, so if you've ever been with a narcissist, or you've liked your boss, it does, like I said, it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. Just know it wasn't your fault,
right?
And like
they're good.
Yes, so
they're good. And that's why I just said, like, when you were saying, like, you're confident and you're outgoing, but you are still susceptible.
Everybody is. Yep. Yeah. All right, so let's talk about my favorite part, how to win and how to kill a narcissist. Because let me tell you something, girl. I have fucking mastered it.
Well, I need your help.
Okay,
I mean, I think I've gotten good. I mean,
yeah,
but I could do better.
Okay. So here's the tactics. So number 1, no contact. That is the only way to kill a narcissist. But a lot of us cannot go no contact. You can't quit your job. You cannot, if you have children with this person, you're co-parenting with them. Actually, it's not co-parenting. If you have a child with a narcissist, I want you to look up and study what's called parallel parenting. Co-parenting with a narcissist is 100% impossible. It will never happen. I just want to discuss something about children that I read when it comes to like parallel parenting with a narcissist, something that you have to wrap your brain around. Narcissists do not love their children. They see them as an extension of themselves. So when your children are doing well, they love them. And I say that in air quotes. So it's hard to think about that, and it's hard to accept. It's so hard, because especially I think of someone not loving their own child and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Narcissists are incapable of it.
They have an idea of what their children should be.
Yes.
And if the children are fitting that narrative, we're good.
Yes.
But if that child or children don't fit the narrative, it can be bad.
Yes.
So if you do feel like you parallel parent with a narcissist, do your research.
Yes.
Because you need to understand that, because honestly, you are going to be the one that is going to have to help your child understand that.
Really quick too, and I feel like I have to say this, if you are in the situation, and again, anybody who's going through a divorce and they're, you're co-parenting now, or you're doing this whole thing, and most of the world is, it is vital. I don't care what your ex-spouse does. Never, ever badmouth them to your children. Nope. It only hurts your relationship with your child. And just so you know, time will go on. Your child will see it for themselves. Absolutely. And by the way, that's the best way for it to happen, because they can believe it and see it for themselves.
Oh, absolutely.
So I just want to put that out there. Like, and it's hard to do. Oh, it's hard to do. But you will only enrich and empower and build and grow your loving relationship with your child. And just so you know, your child only needs one healthy parent to thrive. That is a huge thing. And you're going to be that healthy parent for them, and they're going to be fine. System. Yeah, if you have a narcissist in your life that you're co-parent or parallel parenting with, it's not the end of the world. Just know your shit.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, parallel parenting, it's rough, and you have to be the best that you can be for your child.
Always
and
be the bigger person.
Oh, yes. Always be the bigger person. never badmouth the other parent. It's never a good look. And it only hurts the children. And I'm going to tell you this.
And they will use that against you if you do that. So if you are bad-mouthing your ex and the kids say something, that's just going to be used against you. It's just not. Right. It's going to get ugly.
Right. I have an ex-husband. We share a child together, and I don't ever badmouth him because it only hurts my relationship with her.
Right.
Right. And so it's so not worth it.
And it's their parent.
Exactly.
They love their parent. They love their parent. And so you shouldn't put them in that position.
I will tell you one thing I'm really proud of all the shit that I've been through is I just want people who are going to love my child.
Right.
If you love my child and you enrich her life, I'm fine with it.
Right.
I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, my ex-husband got remarried. I'm thankful. I'm happy. Like, if she's a positive person in her life, I'm here for it. Right. You know what I mean?
I told you that today. Yeah. My ex-husband got remarried. I couldn't love her more.
Right. And that's an amazing thing.
She's great to my kids. She loves my kids.
Yep.
Her parents are grandparents to my kids. She's just a very good person. And I tell my kids how lucky they are.
Yep.
Because you never know what they're going to get.
God, I really went off there, but I love talking about parenting. It's the mom and me coming out. All right. So no contact is the ultimate way to go if you want to kill a narcissist But most of us cannot do that in this world. So here's what I love. This is one of my favorite techniques in the world. It's called the gray rock technique.
Okay.
So basically, it's this total disengagement from your narcissist. And it's so simple. It's called gray rock because it basically means turn into a gray rock. The most boring nothingness in the world. Okay. So you go gray rock. You just become a rock. You have no opinion. You do not engage. You become uninterested, unresponsive. I mean, you're going to be so fucking boring that they're just like, oh my God, I'm so done with them. They're so boring to me. I don't get anything from them because, again, they're looking for that narcissistic supply.
Oh, yeah. No, because they feed off of that.
Exactly. So when they lose
they want a reaction.
Yes.
So if you don't give them a reaction, there's nothing there for them to get. So.
Exactly. So this is the technique of going gray rock, but it's really hard to do because they know how to push your buttons. They know you better than anybody in the world.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So you want, like, if they text you, like, you want to respond. You want to say your piece.
Yes.
You want to say your piece.
But at the end of the day,
they don't care.
Right.
So don't do it. I mean, I've had it in the past where I might type out this long old text and then I just erase it all.
Beautiful.
That's
a great thing.
It all.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, it will not matter what I say.
It never matters.
They will never see it the way I see it. They will never admit that they are wrong in any way, and they don't care.
Exactly.
And
they
so you
genuinely
are
don't care.
putting so much of your energy, which is exactly what you don't want to do.
So that's what the gray rock technique does. And so I'm going to give you a few of my favorite terms. So when I'm dealing with, and I've known several narcissists. Okay. So again, that's a huge tip, by the way. In any relationship, you don't have to respond right away. God, we're all so programmed now to take that phone out of your pocket and hurry up and fire a text back. I purposely don't respond to people because I'm like, I need a break right now.
It took me a long time because if I didn't respond right away, I would get question mark.
So being a gray rock, this is what you do. Nothing.
Yeah.
So
and I've gotten good. Like
so here's some of the responses that I like. So you can just write back and just say, okay, that's all. And then if there's an answer that you're just not sure about yet, you give no explanation, but you say, maybe.
Or I'll let you know.
Or say, I don't know. No, never promise.
Oh.
You just say, I don't know.
Okay.
So remember, I'm schooling you right now.
Yeah.
But my favorite, most amazing response to anything in the world, that's interesting. That's it. There's nothing to say back to that.
So start doing that.
So listen.
That's interesting.
Anytime
I deal with a narcissist, I'm just gonna say,
yes,
that's interesting.
So your boss could be like, you were fucking up and you did all these terrible things and you're fucking the worst person in the world, and you just respond and say, that's interesting.
Oh, what are they gonna say?
There's nothing to say back to that. So it's honestly,
it kind of stops them in their tracks, right?
I got to be honest with you.
They're not expecting it.
Exactly. When I first started doing it, I was laughing at myself, and I'm like, this is so dumb. But here's the deal, and it's really hard to do because, like I said, the narcissist knows how to push your buttons. When you do this response, you stick with it. And this is how you get good at it. You start to feel that you're in power now. For the first time ever, you're the one that has the power. So if you do it, you're going to get that power and you're going to keep doing it. So I promise you.
There is nothing they hate worse than having that control taken away. But guess why?
But guess what happens? They go away. They leave you alone. And so then this is the ultimate goal. You get your peace.
Right.
So here's the keys, by the way, to going gray rock. you never tell them that you're doing this, right? Like you don't say to them like, I'm going to give you the gray rock technique. Don't ever fucking do that. Number 2, don't talk to your narcissist unless you have to.
Right.
And that's hard to do because especially if you shared a life with this person or you work with this person every day, do not come in on a Monday morning and be like, oh my God, Tom, Dick, and Harry came over. It was great. Like,
right. Or, there are people that have a narcissist as a parent, right? I mean.
So you never want to tell the narcissist details about your life. They're going to use it against you, right? All right. So the next key is to be so fucking boring. I mean, even me, like, I'm not a boring person. When any narcissist in my life, they're like, oh my gosh, she's so boring. Like my response will be like, oh, nothing's going on. And you guys know me in my show. Everything's always going on. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so bored.
Right.
I have nothing to do.
You don't want to give them anything.
Exactly. So then the next thing I want to say too is when you're using this technique, be prepared for them to up their game. So one of the biggest tactics that like if you're in a relationship and you're parenting, they'll be like the ultimate thing to do to a mother is say they're a bad mother. So prepare for they're going to up their game when it comes to like you not because they're not used to you not responding.
Oh yeah.
They're not used to you.
They're going to pull out all the stops to get a reaction from you.
So I just want to say, if one of the biggest things that if you can like get a visual, I like having visuals with things, is you can't play tug of war with someone if you drop your rope.
Right.
So that's a huge thing with a narcissist. Yeah. So just going gray rock, you're not playing the tug of war game anymore. There's just nothing left to be done. And once you start practicing it and implementing it, and believe me, I know how hard it is not to fucking stand up for yourself. It is the most... It's the worst thing in the world, especially if you have children involved, but you win. So the ultimate thing with the gray rock technique, you just want to have peace. Peace is your ultimate goal. I absolutely am telling you, like, start using the gray rock technique, and I'm going to send you a video about it. And you can go out there and download videos of it, and you can school yourself. I mean, it's an amazing technique. And also, this doesn't just work for narcissists. It works for any toxic person in your life. It could be a toxic friend, a toxic coworker, a toxic, family member. The gray rock technique just works. It doesn't have to be a narcissist. It's just shutting the situation down, and you're just not bothered by it anymore.
Once you don't respond, they have
over.
Nowhere else to go.
Exactly. Okay, so wow, that was a lot of talk about narcissists. I'm happy to get it out there. I think it's an important subject to talk about.
Hopefully
and if I can
if
I can save one person from that narcissistic
and especially
terror,
because knowing what we know, someone might be feeling crazy right now, that it's them.
Right. So narcissists. Oh God,
I mean, there's a lot of.
I'm glad we're done talking about them assholes.
I'm already exhausted just from talking about it.
I know. Same. All right, so let's move on to something way less complicated, but not really. This is not.
Oh no.
But this is something that no one talks about, and it's something you brought up, and I was like, you know what? I'll fucking talk about it.
Yeah.
Adultery. All right, so I just want to say before we get started, I've been in both positions. I'm here to own up to like things that I've done. I have been cheated on. That's how my marriage ended. But that was a good thing for me. I was happy to get out. But and I've also been, a cheater, and I've been a mistress. You know what I mean? So I am going to just put that out there. And then also, I am not condoning this behavior. I just want to let people know it is way more common than you think on both ends.
And like I told you, it's not black and white.
Right. Yeah, really exactly.
I mean, I was cheated on, but I also know people that have cheated on their spouse. And I'm not saying there's ever a good excuse, but nothing is ever just black and white. There are people that I would have never in a million years would think that they would have cheated on their spouse, and they did. I guess what I'm saying is don't sit in judgment because you don't really know.
Yeah. I'm happy that you say that because, and like I said, I mean, it's so common. I mean, really, like, it's unbelievable how common it is, and no one talks about it because, my God, if you get caught doing it or if you're involved with it, I mean, you better run. Like, you're going to get stoned in the streets. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? It's like the worst fucking thing you can ever do. And yet most of the world does it, And I just want to say something too, because you were sharing your story about it, and I know how traumatizing it can be. And I joke around and say, I'm so thankful that he cheated on me. And I am. But when I first found out, I mean, it does hurt. It's not something that you want to go through. And then, but like I said, I've been on the other side, and it's like, I didn't go into it wanting to hurt someone,
You got caught up.
Right.
Like, and I feel like in some situations you get caught up emotionally, and it's hard to break from that. Like, Again, it's not black and white.
I know.
It just isn't.
I know. And then when you were talking about, in marriages, like you never know what's going on behind closed doors.
Right.
Only people in that relationship know. And so there's all that going on. And a lot of people see, stepping outside of their marriage as an escape.
Right.
Right.
And
it's like,
and not every, I guess too, why I say it's not black and white is because a lot of people aren't strong enough to get out of a bad marriage. Sometimes their strength comes from knowing that there's someone else already. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm not making an excuse. I'm not saying it's okay, but I'm just saying, just don't sit in judgment. There's just, you don't know everything behind what's going on. And for me to be able to say that, because it was terrible for me, but that was my situation. That doesn't mean that was your situation or anybody else's. And that's just my personal experience.
Yeah. And one of the things that really when you shared your story, and it's rough when you it's not just a physical thing. You see an actual emotion. It's like, it's an emotional affair, and those are brutal.
Yes. I mean, I think it would have been easier for me if it had been a one-time thing. And again, I wouldn't be happy about it.
Right.
But when it was more of an actual relationship and things that I found about things I love about you. And
I mean, all affairs are rough stuff. And by the way, no one sets out to be like, I'm going to go have an affair. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's traumatic events that take place in your life, in one or the other. And all of a sudden you find yourself in a situation, you're like, oh, fuck. And then you find yourself in this cycle of it, and you're like, oh my God, I can't break it.
Right.
I'm here to say I'm not someone that's going to judge. And I love the way that you're like that, even though, and it's happened to both of us. And we both said we've also been on the other side. So it's and I think probably most of the world has, because let's be real. I mean, every other fucking day you're hearing about, oh, they were cheating on her, or oh, they were cheating on him. For all of the ones that you know about, there's
many, many more.
Exactly.
And again, like I said, and people that you would probably never, ever expect. You would be completely surprised.
Right. I mean, it happens. It's just way more common than you think. But I just want to say with the adultery thing, because like I said, I've been on both sides of it. Both sides, whether you're being cheated on or you're the cheater, it's important to know that it's about them. It's about the person that's doing the action. It's not about you.
No.
So when I was cheated on, it wasn't about me.
Right.
And when I cheated on someone, it wasn't about them. You know what I mean? It was about me.
Right.
It's always about you as the person doing the action.
Right.
And then you can't let actions of others dictate your future. So it's funny I'm saying that, because I'm always so against getting married again. But
I used to think I was, but I think now that I've been,
wow,
I know.
I don't know, girl. Oh God,
I know,
no.
because my whole thing was why would I need to get married again? I'm not going to have any more children. But I am.
Well, good for you. I feel like that's personal growth. I think that
I love love.
Yeah.
And so I don't know.
I'm happy for you, because I know you've been through a lot. So that's a beautiful thing. I love love too. I think the commitment fucking terrifies me.
Right.
Just because, especially, I mean, I thought Prince Charming was my forever. And it's devastated me that he's not. And it's if I would have gotten married to him, that's all you got. You got to get the courts involved.
Right.
And it's
fuck. It's an ugly thing.
It is.
Sure.
And when you've gone through it,
when I say I would consider it, I'd have to put a lot of thought into it. It's not like something I would just jump into.
Yeah.
Because it's scary. It is scary thinking about having to go through that again.
It is.
I will be honest, a little less scary when children are involved.
Right. That's true. You're right.
Because you might be able just to kind of each go your own way. I feel like when children are involved, it's just a whole nother level.
I know. They always say you should never say never, but and I have a lot of healing to do. That's why I'm doing my 60-day no-D diet. Girl, oh my God, I'm struggling so hard. I can't even say the word hard. I told you, I've been jerking off all fucking day. I told you, I'm still wet from that goddamn Rose vibrator. It has my name written all over it as soon as I'm
But at least you have that. That's how you're going to stay strong. That's how you're going to make it.
I know. Whatever it takes.
Yeah. Right?
Oh, God. All right. So just want to say, no judging.
No.
It's not about you. It's not about you. It's about the other person. And it's a very sensitive subject to talk about, and it's tough to talk about, but no one talks about it.
No.
And I just want to say, if you're going through it or you've been through it, just move forward. Don't let it change your mind about the future.
Well,
and it's not about you.
For me, what I haven't allowed it to do is for me to automatically not trust another man.
That's really good. That's
because it's
growth.
Not fair to punish someone else for someone else's
actions.
Yes,
absolutely.
And so I just
look at us.
I know.
Who would have thought?
I know we're so mature. But I'm just saying, like, unless someone gives me a reason not to trust them, you have my full trust. I am never going to immediately just assume that every man I date or am with is a cheater, because that isn't true.
Right.
Yes, it happens a lot.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to do that. I just am still who I am. I just am not going to let someone change me.
I love that, sister. All right, so let's talk about what I want to fucking talk about, sex.
Yes.
One of the things that I love talking to you about, and like I feel like that's really resonating with me lately, because, you know, I'm on my 60-day diet. And then I was joking on my last episode, and I was like, you know, I'm going to be looking for a friends with benefit. Like I was talking about how I was going to wear a sign around my neck that says like wanted FWB. Like, come on. Like, but I will tell you, when you said something, because I've been thinking, I don't know if I want that casual sex anymore.
It's very common. I will say it's very
and
common.
I've had it a long time, but like, I don't know. Cause I've been propositioned, and there's someone that's like July 1st, Adrian.
But here's the thing. When you think about it, women, if we wanted to, we could have sex every day if we wanted to.
Right.
Because,
well, I do.
But I mean, you can even ask a man. It's much easier for a woman to have sex. If she wants to have sex, she can go out to wherever. And if she wants to take someone home, she's going to take them home.
You're right.
Men don't always have that option.
We dictate it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I told you, for me, it's very difficult to have just casual sex. Not saying I never have, because I have, but for me, and I love sex. I love sex.
That's why you're here.
I know. I would have sex every single day.
Yeah. But I need to be with the right person. It can't just be anybody.
I can't just be out sleeping with random people. I can't do it. And it's just because for me, it's emotional. And I feel like I'm giving myself to someone, and I need that respect. I have to feel respected.
So if you recall, I had Samantha on my show, episode 6, I can't remember. She's the one who makes the coochie tea, which is fucking awesome. But she actually reached out to me because she saw my no-D diet, and she was like, Adrian, I want you to be really careful when you like get yourself out in the world. Be careful who you're giving yourself to. Right. Because when you go out there, she's like, you're giving yourself to someone. Like that's a lot of energy. She was like, you know, just know. But like me, I'm someone I've had a lot of casual sex in my life. That's kind of been my thing. But I don't know, lately I'm like, is that really what I want to get myself into? And like, even for me to do this 60-day diet, I think it's just growth and age and maturity. But it's funny when you said that, it hit me because I was like, I know, because I'm like, you know, I'm getting closer to like this.
But I go back and forth. So where I'm like, I feel like I can't do that. But then there's another part of me where I'm like, I'm a 47-year-old woman. I should be able to do whatever I want to do with no judgment of anyone. But honestly, probably the only person that's judging me the hardest is me.
Absolutely. We're all our biggest critics. But I don't know, when you're just talking about like the casual sex thing, I was like, so here's the deal. Like I like passionate, hardcore fucking. Yeah. And if I'm just fucking somebody that I don't care about, the passion isn't going to be there.
Nope.
So that's what concerns me. So as I've gotten older and I started really figuring out what I like sexually, which is that passionate, hardcore fucking, I'm like, is a stranger going to give that to me? Or not a stranger. I'm not going to be going out and fucking strangers, but like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I don't know. And so it's been hitting me lately.
I don't know. And when it comes to sex for me, that is so important in a relationship.
Yeah.
Like you both have to really agree on like what you enjoy and what you like.
It's true. Right. You're right. Oh God, this world, I feel like I'm looking at like Mount Everest, and it's like I have to navigate this motherfucker like a Plinko chip going upwards. I'm like, fuck, like, this is going to be interesting.
But at our age, we know what we like.
Yeah,
we know what we like. And
we'll see.
Yeah.
I'll be here to share it all.
But right?
My next victim out there has no fucking clue what he is in for. He's just living his life right now, all fat and happy.
I'm sure he'll be very happy. Like I have no doubts.
All right, so I want to talk about something because you talking about you have a blowjob. Was it a blowjob trick or it's a hand job trick?
Okay. I'm going to tell you, I didn't know I have this trick.
All right,
I was told I have this trick that apparently it's amazing. Like I'm amazing. Didn't know I was amazing. It's not like I put any research into it. It wasn't like
you should, you know.
I guess, I don't know. But apparently I'm told it has something to do with the hand at the same time. And it's like.
I always use my hands when I'm sucking dick too. I agree.
Yeah. And it's something about, obviously, a lot of spit.
Oh,
A
absolutely.
lot of, nice and wet.
I love a wet, messy blowjob.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's about the twisting of the hand, I guess.
So you're using one hand with your mouth.
Yes. And it's like kind of up and down, but also twisting. And then you kind of come up even to that, like as you come up, you kind of also bring your hand up to the head and kind of massage the head, and then you kind of go back down.
The underside, the underside of the head.
This whole twisting. I didn't know. I mean, I just assumed that this was normal.
Christina,
I don't know. I assumed this was normal. I didn't know this was anything.
So I've never done that, like twisting motion, hand, and then like rubbing the head. That's a really good tip.
Yeah.
I like deep throating. That's like my thing. And so but I will do like a long stroke, but I've never really twisted my hand. So I'm going to use this. It's not
just that. It's also deep throat too.
Right.
It's all of it.
Like that one
a little
fluid
bit of
motion. Right.
Like it's a little bit that, and then you're back twisting, and then you might, I don't know.
Okay, you fucking just taught me something. Like that rarely happens.
I don't know. I'm excited
about
I didn't know this was anything. Like,
great,
I don't know.
Great tip to share.
Yeah, okay. You'll have to let me know how that goes.
I will, believe me.
And I enjoy it. And I think that's a big part of it too.
Oh my God.
Because the guy knows if you enjoy it or not.
Girl,
I do enjoy it.
I love sucking dick.
Yeah, I do too. And there are a lot of women that don't. And that's fine. But
showing the enthusiasm is half the battle.
Mine is pleasure. I get off on knowing I'm giving someone pleasure.
Oh, God bless you.
Yeah, but it's true. And that excites me.
There's some fucking lucky men out there. They don't even know. No, seriously, we are definitely not the norm. Like you're right. Like I have a lot of friends that are like, I fucking hate sucking dick.
Oh yeah, no, I do too.
I'm not going to name any names, but I was with somebody yesterday, and they were like, I don't like cum. Like literally, they turn their partner away. They're like, finish over there. I'm like, what?
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, that's so disappointing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
I'm like, I'll swallow it. I'll swallow it. You can all over my boobs. You can inside.
I'm a fluid person.
It doesn't.
Yeah,
it doesn't bother me.
Listen, one of my favorite things to do with Mr. July was like I would let him finish inside of me, and then I would use my hands because he's into freaky shit too. I would use my hands like get the cum out, and then let him watch me lick my fingers. Yeah. Like I'm all about the cum. I'm all about the fluids. I love it.
If they were like to come all over my tits,
you'll use
I'll take my finger and lick it off.
Like,
girl. And they love that.
Yeah. Oh my God,
it's all about, like you said, the excitement and the passion and the it's. I don't know.
And by the way, if you're going down on me and when you're done, I'm licking your lips afterwards.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They love that too.
That's my thing too.
Or if you're having sex and then you go to give them oral and they love thinking that you're tasting yourself off of them.
Well, I like doing it.
I mean, I guess I shouldn't say they. Maybe it's not all men, but in my experience, most.
Yeah. I'm into all that shit.
Yeah.
All right. I love that. I love that technique. I'm going to try it. I literally, I can't believe I haven't done that. Okay.
I don't know. Are you sure you haven't?
Learn something new every day.
I don't know.
I mean, I definitely am like I've never done like the actual twisting and then like the head at the. Yeah, all right, I'm gonna do it.
All right, you're gonna have to let me know how it goes.
I will in fucking 45 days.
The countdown's on.
Oh, girl.
Somebody's going to be lucky. They're going to be your experiment.
I know. I'm telling you, there's a poor guy out there. But there's a calendar. I'm marking X's in
my
office.
Right now, I think there's going to be people reaching out to you. Like, I will be the one for you to. Like,
maybe that's what it is.
I'll be the volunteer.
I'm TikTok famous now, and I do have a lot of that. I'm not going to lie. Of course, every
it's the thing.
decent looking woman on TikTok does it. And I think maybe that's what it is. It's like, I don't want just anybody. I want somebody that I'm really crazy about. Yeah. So, and I'm willing to wait. I'm willing to wait it out. I feel bad for everybody in my life around me, but like I'm a raging bitch, but you know what? Like, I'll be okay. I have a lot of toys upstairs. So you're right. That is keeping me good. All right. So get excited, cravers. Uncle Mo is coming back for the next episode. He was by far my most popular guest, and he's coming back for more. God bless a man that comes back for more.
Oh, yeah. Right. I enjoyed listening to him. It was on
awesome.
the Don't Fuck the Bartender.
Yes. And
it's always good getting a man's insight to things.
I love so open.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because we do think very differently as men and women. So it's always good to get that other side.
Right. So speaking of that, I want all of my listeners to reach out to me with any questions that you have. He is wide open. Wide open.
I know. I'm going to have to
If anything you want to ask, like he'll give you like the straight up male point of view.
Like, I'm a little intrigued by this person.
Everybody is.
Yeah.
I know. So, and I'm not giving anything up.
Right.
All right. Well, listen, I got to get back to my Rosie. And send me a DM on Instagram if you want the link to that. I swear to God, it's like one of the best toys. I
have seen it somewhere. It must
oh my
been,
God, life changing.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I was still like kind of like I was like it was earth shattering. I was still kind of like coming down
wobbly.
when you got here. I was
Your
like,
legs were wobbly. You couldn't walk.
I was like, wow.
You're like, I need a nap now.
Right. Yeah. All right. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Everything's coming up roses.